Welcome to this video on doing your dissertation. In this video, we consider the supervisory relationship and how to work effectively with your supervisor. We consider your role and that of your supervisor, as well as what you shouldn't expect your supervisor to do. Then we consider supervision meetings and how to manage them, followed by some final tips for a successful relationship with your supervisor. So let's start by thinking about your supervisor and what their role is in your dissertation before considering what your role in the supervisory relationship is. Your supervisor can provide advice and guidance on your topic choice and on background reading, sources, key debates, and current developments in the topic or field. They may provide advice on the viability of your proposed research, your chosen methods or approach, or your research question or hypotheses. Supervisors may also provide guidance on planning and managing your research. And finally, they will read your draft work and provide feedback on your work and progress. However, it's important to recognize that your supervisor isn't there to tell you exactly what you should do or hold your hand every step of the way. You need to work independently, and your supervisor is there to support you in doing so. You also need to take responsibility for your research and its completion. Don't expect your supervisor to chase you about having meetings, if you miss a meeting, or if you miss an agreed draft deadline, for example. Talk to your supervisor at an early stage about timelines, intermediate deadlines for plans or drafts, and within what time frame you should expect to receive feedback. It's also important to reflect on what is not the role of your supervisor. For example, it's not your supervisor's job to come up with a research topic, conduct research on your behalf, or write parts of your dissertation for you. It's also not your supervisor's job to edit or proofread your writing, to be available instantly whenever you have a question or difficulty, or to chase you for drafts by the agreed deadlines. Now let's think a little about supervision meetings and how to manage them. Supervision meetings are a key part of the supervisory relationship and the research process. Supervisors will usually meet with students at least 3 times. This will help you to keep on track with your research and make timely progress towards completion of your dissertation. You may meet informally with a lecturer before embarking on the dissertation if you're asked to identify a supervisor yourself or discuss your ideas with an appropriate member of faculty. Your first official meeting, however, will usually be soon after you've submitted your proposal and have been allocated a supervisor by the module convener. Because supervision meetings are such a vital part of an effective supervisory relationship, it's important to make sure that you make the most of them, and also remember that it's your dissertation, so you need to take responsibility for the meetings too. So make sure you prepare well for your meetings. Have an agenda, and ensure that you provide any plans or drafts you would like to discuss in plenty of time for your supervisor to take a look beforehand. Also, write down your questions. You may think that you'll remember them all, but it's easy to forget once you start discussing your research and progress, and you don't want to leave the meeting and then realise you didn't ask an important question. During the meeting, remember to take notes. Don't rely on your memory to remember all the points discussed. Also discuss any action points for you or your supervisor arising from the meeting. If you keep a research log or journal, you can include your agenda and the notes from each meeting in your journal. And don't be afraid to ask questions you have, however elementary they may seem. Supervisors are used to working with students who have never done independent dissertation research, so they are used to all kinds of questions. It's also useful after each meeting to review your notes and make sure they're all comprehensible. Make sure you create a to-do list if you've identified action points in the meeting, and it can be helpful to provide a short written summary of the meeting and any action points in an email to your supervisor. You can ask in the meeting if they would like you to provide such a summary as a memory aid, for them as well as for you. Remember that lecturers will often have several students they're supervising, so also make sure that when you do contact your supervisor by email, the subject line is clear and you sign off properly with your full name and student number. So to finish this video, here are some final tips for working with your supervisor. Read your dissertation module guide and handbook in detail so that you don't waste valuable time asking about things you already have the answer to. Make sure you attend meetings, even if you're not at the stage you'd planned to be at. And send drafts on time, according to agreed deadlines, even if you haven't got as far as you had hoped. Don't be afraid to ask your supervisor for advice if you encounter difficulties. And equally, if you encounter difficulties with your supervisor, get in touch with the dissertation module convener to discuss your concerns. Take on board all feedback, whether praise or criticism. That feedback will enable you to do your very best in your dissertation, even if at the time it feels disappointing to receive criticism of your work. So in summary, developing an effective relationship with your supervisor is incredibly important for a successful dissertation. Make sure that you understand both your own role and that of your supervisor, as well as what you shouldn't expect your supervisor to do. Establish timelines, communication methods, and other procedural aspects early. Take responsibility for your overall research and for preparing for and attending meetings. And finally, don't be afraid to ask questions.